with Video Expert with Roper and Bill Sayre. This is a Friday afternoon, May 28th at the start of what is going to be a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. This is a segment that we do on video. We put it up on our Facebook, so when we don't touch on everything that we really want to touch on over the course of the week, we have a little extra time to hit those topics that are important, but just didn't get into the show during the week. One of the stories we missed this week is the Vermont Tiger symposium in Burlington. That was put on by Jeff Norman and his organization, and some of the coverage that it got in an online news organization called Vermont Tiger that's done by Ann Galloway. Now, you're familiar with
Yes.
Vermont Tiger, Bill?
Yes, I am.
I think that Ann Galloway does a terrific job of going out there, and what's unique about her site is that she does a lot of video, and she posts everything that she saw, like the Digger thing. It's mostly in the press. You read the quote from here or there. It's often taken out of context. And you don't really get a full idea of what's happened. But what Ann does is she takes the whole thing and she prints, minutes and tens of minutes and even hours of video from the Democratic debates that have been going on around the state, and in this case, Vermont Tiger. So Vermont Tiger. So if you weren't able to actually go and see the symposium last Tuesday, you can go on Vermont Tiger and you can see Judge Andrew Napolitano's speech. You can see a lot of the panel discussions on education and on economic development, and she does a terrific job with that. Her commentary, though, is where I've got a little bit of an issue, because she does write an extensive argument about, or article about the symposium, and it drove me nuts because she talked about what I said in the education thing on choice, and she quoted me as saying that. Rather coldly, I think, that we just want the marketplace to determine winners and losers with school choice. And I never said that.
No.
I never said that. And in fact, what I did say is that I think it's a win-win situation for school choice if it comes to Vermont, because I think that the parents are gonna win, and that it's the students are gonna win, the communities that have these schools are going to win, and ultimately the taxpayers are going to win, because it's a more efficient way of producing a high-quality educational system. So she put those words in my mouth, but then she also had the courtesy of showing the whole video, which I hope people will watch to find out what I really said.
As you were suggesting, parental involvement will increase with school choice. And if there's one key on which everybody agrees across the spectrum that's important in determining education for children, it's the involvement of their parents in the process. And of course, with monopoly schools, there's constant encouragement for parents to get involved, but sometimes they get discouraged. But with school choice, it will be automatic and inevitable, because parents must be involved to decide which school offers the best service for their children and their family. So that alone, to me, makes school choice a winner. But as you're also stated in your talk, which was a good one, schools will compete. And just as in the market, you actually have more diversity of products and services in America, where markets are freer, than you do in countries where choices are determined by government.
Now, Bill, one other bone of contention that I have with Ann Galloway and Vermont Tiger and her article on the Vermont Tiger Symposium is she really does go out of her way, I think, to paint the issue as a partisan, Republican partisan organization. But partisan is a word that is derived from the word party. And if you are a partisan, and I've been one, I've been chairman of the Vermont Republican Party, which is a partisan fiduciary responsibility to the organization. But that's very different from being loyal to principles. And what Ann was saying in her piece is that Vermont Tiger, they're in favor of entrepreneurialism, they're in favor of lower taxes, they're in favor of more efficient government. These are all Republican things, and therefore it's a partisan organization. Well, that's really not what the word partisan means. And I don't think Vermont Tiger is a partisan organization. They're very loyal to certain principles that they have. But whether a person is a member of a certain party or not doesn't matter. So long as they're upholding the principles, if they're a Republican, if they're a Democrat, if they're a progressive, if they're an independent, then they're going to support that person. If the and by contrast, if they are any of those political parties but not supporting the principles of the Vermont Tiger organization, they're going to get slammed. And we've seen that happen. And that's the difference between partisanship and nonpartisanship. It doesn't have anything to do with the principles that you hold. It's where that primary loyalty comes. Is your primary loyalty, is your fiduciary responsibility to a party? And certainly that's not the case with Vermont Tiger. And I think that what Ann does in insinuating that is to try and drive a wedge between her readers and understanding the issues and the principles at stake, and trying to just have certain people tune out the arguments, which I don't think is something that a journalist should be doing.
Well, and I feel, here's the test, Rob. When Republicans go the wrong way, will people in Tiger criticize them? In my experience is yes. That the average contributor, and anybody's free to write into the blog, agree or disagree. Matter of fact, the debate is the part from which we all learn the most in Vermont Tiger. And there are those on the left who contribute regularly. But I feel those who Ann might have said are really only partisan, and I like your definition there, loyalty to the party, not to the principle. I disagree with her that indeed they will criticize Republicans when Republicans go against the basic principles on which our country is founded.
Thanks for listening to this True North Extra. We'll catch you next week.